Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Brendan Lee with thebrendanlee.com. In this episode or in this video, I want to talk to you about, somebody wrote me a question: how do I deal with negative emotions when I get criticized, or when I get criticism? I experience negative emotions. How do I handle this, or how do you handle this? A few things. Just some ideas. In terms of your negative emotions, so say I'm assuming that this is in a work environment and that somebody is saying, hey, well, you could do this. Then you take it personally, you get upset. And like you said in your letter, you don't let them see that you're upset. You keep calm. What do you do about that? Well, here are a few different areas that you can look into, and then you decide how it is you want to relate. Okay? First thing you could do, if you have negative emotions when somebody's criticizing you, you could get reactionary. You could yell, scream, throw a hissy fit. You could do that. You could react. The negative emotion that you have coming up is already a reaction, and you could relate to that by reacting to the fact that you're reacting and, do what we call acting out. You could do that. It's a possibility. It doesn't seem very functional, but this is one thing humans can do. Second thing you could do is notice that you have a way of relating, and you relate to, like, you have an emotion coming up. How you relate to that emotion will make a difference. And you may not be able to control that the emotion arises, but you can control how it is you're going to decide to relate to that emotion. Okay? Now, one way that you could relate to the emotion is, one, I would invite you to let it be there. Yes, I am feeling upset. And then you can ask yourself, well, how do I want to relate to this? And what's the most effective way for me to relate to this? And then you decide how it is you're going to proceed from there. And there's nothing wrong with the emotions coming up. People have emotional reactions all the time. It's kind of it's a huge part of how we are as human beings. Okay? So you could change your relationship to it. Now, third thing you can do is you could drop the emotion so that it doesn't even come up. In this case, it would be investigating. I would invite you to consider what we call bottom line contemplation, but that's just something we say. That's like a label for a certain type of inquiry, which leads you to consider the real source of the emotional reactivity in the first place. Now, say you're at work, somebody says something, they criticize you, you have an emotional flare-up, you can go, well, why am I flaring up? What way am I such that I'm having this emotional reactivity, this anger, which, as you noticed in your letter, yes, it's from anger, comes from pain, so you're actually in pain about something. See if you can discover what the pain is really about. What are you really doing by being in pain? Some ideas, well, you discover. You go check it out. Okay? And so then there's the possibility of understanding and grasping what that is really about, and then you simply stop doing it. You find out that it is indeed something you're doing. You find the place, as if in your self-experience where you are, kind of thing, in your experience, you find the place where you are going because somebody does something to you, and then you go, ah! Find where you're doing that. But you're going to have to discover what it is that's going on, and then you can know if you're doing it or not. Maybe it's just that people do things and then they make you feel pain. And if that's the case, then your best bet is to go and control other people, because they are the ones that are causing you to feel pain. Now, this isn't actually the way it goes, but if in your experience that's what you got, then that means that your experience is completely determined by other people. In which case you have no power and no authority to do anything, and you must control other people. And if that's what you have going on, then I would just turn this video off and fuck it, because ain't nothing going to change that. Unless you change it. Okay? Now, one other thing you can consider, this is maybe some feedback from the apprentice side of things, or the more, hey, let's handle the problem quickly side of things, more straight, is if you are in a work environment and somebody is giving you feedback, and then you're getting upset, get over yourself. Let it go. Be a professional. Top professional. Hey, this is wrong. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, and this is why you suck. Good. Yeah, maybe there's some hurt there. Okay, so what? You get a little bruise, you get your ego bruised, you're not as good as you thought you were, something like that. Good. Fucking suck it up and make a change. Ask yourself, is their criticism valid? What can I do to be a professional in this case? Professionals, they don't fuck around. They get criticism, boom, they make the change, done. That seems to be an empowering relationship to this kind of criticism. Is the pain going to be there? It might, but the pain is not the main focus. The main focus is the job, or the main focus is whatever it is you're trying to handle. Now, on the flip side, somebody may be giving you criticism and they may have malintent. They may have intent to hurt you, in which case, in my estimation, they're being the child. They're doing stupid, childish shit. And what do you do with that? Well, I would, you can do whatever you want with that, and you could talk to them, say, hey, here's what I see you doing. Is this true? And then you work it out. You use communication and honesty and you work it out. You get across your experience. They talk to you, and these things can get really messy. I'm not saying there's a clean way to deal with that, but you fucking handle it. Talk to them about it. Okay? Otherwise, notice that you can have many different relationships to what arises in relationship to criticism. And some relationships are more empowering than others. And so you can study and figure out what is the most powerful relationship that you could have to being criticized, and then work on it. So couple stories that may help. One, this comes from Stuart Emery, who is a mentor of Peter's when he was coming up in the Bay Area. And this is from Stuart about criticism. So say you make a pan of lasagna and somebody comes up to you and says, well, that's a great pan of lasagna. Say your significant other makes you a pan of lasagna, and then you get the lasagna and then you say, oh, that's good, but it could use a little more salt. And you figure if you tell your significant other who spent hours on this lasagna, hey, it's good, but it's not quite the best, and it's kind of sucks in here a little bit, it needs some salt, you're going to be wearing the lasagna, right? And something to consider about criticism. Say you give the lasagna, you get the criticism, and you get upset. One, the person giving you the criticism could be a complete fool. They could be an idiot. So in that case, getting upset by their criticism is inappropriate, because why would you get upset at an idiot? They don't know what they're talking about. So being upset, stupid thing to do. Or the flip side, maybe they're a lasagna master. And by telling you that if you put a pinch of salt in the lasagna, you can make the best lasagna ever. In which case, that's a service. So it is, again, inappropriate to get upset at the person giving you the feedback. Do you see how that works? So no matter how butthurt you might feel, it's inappropriate in either case. Yeah? Another side of that, okay, you got that? So here's another story, another thing to consider. So in the martial world, the martial arts world, done a lot of martial arts, and one of the things that the martial arts does that's really handy, I think, is when I'm training, it becomes clear that in order for me to be skillful, my emotional reactivity, any of the stuff that I have going on that it is in reaction to what's happening, doesn't help anything. It does not help me be skillful. It does not help me be powerful. It does not help me have an empowered relationship to, say, the martial, which is like physical fighting type stuff. The emotional reactivity does not help. And it's the same in probably high stress business situations. Like being emotionally reactive doesn't help anybody further the action. All it does is serve to generate reactivity, hurt feelings, chaos where there doesn't need to be chaos, and more, I'm sure. Okay, so recognizing through the Marshall training, at least for myself, that, oh, there's this other world where you control your emotions. You don't do that. You don't go down those roads. Oh, here's a reaction coming up. No, thank you. Nope, not today. Not doing that. Or, and this is very hard, I get fully blown into an emotional reaction, but I still perform anyway, even though as if the house is burning down. I am in full reaction mode, and I don't do that. Like, let it be there, and still do the thing. That's another possible relationship. It's much better to do the former, the first one, where you just don't go down those roads and recognize that they don't serve. And so through the Marshall, it's like stuff that doesn't serve is tossed out. No thanks, no thanks, no thanks. And I don't mean suppression. I mean, like, if I had it in my hand, toss it. Get rid of it. Don't try to pretend like it's not there. Go, oh, thanks, no thanks. Or, nope, not going there. You see? So these are some other possibilities in order to have an empowered relationship. Now, given all that, if you want to change your relationship to that, or if you don't want these emotions to come up, you need to create that for yourself. You need to find a way to generate the understanding, or find where you're doing it, stop doing it, or just drop it. You can try just dropping it, or get over yourself. Whatever sort of avenue I tried to point in many different directions here to get you and to try to open you up and to draw you into a place where you can discover for yourself what to do and what's the best thing for you to do. Okay? So that's what I have for you on considering what to do about negative emotions when facing criticism or feedback. I do believe I have another video on feedback. You can check that out as well. It should help. Okay? So thank you very much. This is Brendan Lee with theBrendanLee.com in support of Consciousness and Skill Worldwide, which is founded by Peter Rawlinson. If you want to get serious, please check the links in the description. Get a free course, paid course, come to a workshop. Workshops are the main thing, super powerful events. They will kick your ass. Hire me to be a coach with you. Whatever. Check the links in the description. Take care. Till next time. Good luck.